Well, I was thrilled to have the chance to speak to this group of people who clearly had so much energy and enthusiasm for improving the lives of people here in the UK. We're essentially thinking through how do you exercise power differently in the 21st century? In a world that is hyper-connected, in a world of crowds, in a world where there are all these new possibilities for ordinary people to participate and shape their own worlds. And so we laid out the difference between old and new power and the skills that you need if you're going to effectively channel new power. So old power, think of Harvey Weinstein. He uses power, thinks of power as a currency. He hoards it, he spends it to reward and punish, to protect, to preserve his place at the top of a hierarchy. New power, think of the Me Too movement. Works like a current. No one can really hoard it or control it. It surges across geographies, across industries, and the job with new power is to figure out how to channel it. Well, I mean, the NHS is all about the business of empowering patients to take control of their own lives, both at the individual level and within their communities. So healthier communities, more empowered communities, and more empowered patients is obviously going to be absolutely critical. There's also the dimension within the NHS of ways to break down traditional hierarchical and bureaucratic structures in ways that incorporate some of these new power methods and this new power mindset. I love the spirit of the Northwest Leadership Academy. You can tell that you guys for years have actually been thinking about different ways to sort of push power down and out, been thinking differently about what a leader does, what the role of a leader is. So I think that this work and the presentation I made this morning sort of stands on the shoulders of the work you've been doing over the last decade, really, with this kind of experimentation with different forms of power and different forms of leadership. What I've seen of the Leadership Academy here today really inspires me. I mean, people are super engaged. People are having difficult conversations about power because, changing power structures also means giving up power. And they're having those conversations across a whole lot of dimensions. And so I thought that was really inspiring. Well, I would just urge people to go back to their organizations and have this conversation with their own teams. That I think is the most important thing. So we laid out some interesting frameworks like the compass, the new power values. I would encourage everybody to go back to their organizations and have a conversation. Where do you fit in that new power compass? Where do you want to be in 5 years? So the way we see the new power work is we want people to become their own practitioners and trainers in new power thinking. So go out, use the materials, and sort of build on it, make it better.